Hello, welcome back again. We are going to be clearing the pituitary gland. It's a request and it's one I can't believe I overlooked for so long. So let's get on with it, shall we? Make sure you're 100% open to receiving healing. Right, here we are then, once again. So where's clearing the pituitary gland? The pituitary gland, where's it sitting with you all? We're about 30 positive and about 60 negative. Okay. Again, these are just tasters. We're at ascended master level, so it's a few levels above incarnational level, but way lower than we want it to be. So let's get your high self teams to clear this up to 100 positive, down to 0 negative, and all the way up to radiant love, new paradigm level of consciousness. Again, these are just taster clearings, taster group clearings, so it just gives you a bit of an insight into SRT, although it's still just as powerful. If you have personal clearings, they're going to be more in depth, obviously, and more appropriate to you. But they can be very powerful. So I've had some fantastic feedback. So thank you. Thank you also for the donations received recently. Super grateful for those. I get very little from YouTube. I didn't get a lot before, but even less now, because they're focusing all their money, for the adverts and things on people that do shorts in order to compete with TikTok. So it's dropped significantly now. So I get almost nothing. I've had nothing for a couple of months from YouTube, so almost nothing now. So any donations that you make for these is very gratefully received. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. I'm doing it for you, for us all, really. I benefit from these as well. So it just helps. It just helps. If you want to work with me on a more personal basis, I do one-to-one coaching / therapy / healing. This is not just this system. I work in different ways. All the details are on my website. All the details are below this video. Right, so where are we going first? Chart 6A for the pituitary gland. Off we go. Failure. Right, does it have other lifetime experiences? It does. Roots. So let's just clear failure away as a master program, and any discordant energy of failure as well, across all time, space and dimension, all your energy bodies as well. I'm not going to go into any details or investigate any past lives or anything like that for this. So not for the group clearing. We're just clearing away whatever we can clear without further investigation. Your teams know what needs doing. If you want to train in SRT, it's a route I didn't bother. That's the wrong word. I didn't want to go down. I didn't want to become a teacher of SRT because I'm focusing on my other work, mostly the coaching, the therapy, and all of that. And I offer SRT packages. So there are some brilliant teachers with the Spiritual Response Association in the States, if you want to Google them. If you want to get Robert E. Detzler's books, Soul Creation, The Freedom Path, and Spiritual Healing, you can get them as well. Robert E. Detzler, he's the one that founded this system in the late 80s, early 90s, and a fantastic system it is. Chart 6A, which is master programs again, so there's another one coming up. Inside right. Again, failure again, so obviously it wasn't fully cleared. Okay, anything else there? Does it have past life and ancestral roots? Don't need to clear it, so let's just clear failure then. Obviously it wasn't thoroughly cleared. That's me stopping it too soon. Right, now where are we going? Chart 8A, which is inner archetypes. Critical parent, is it too strong? Are they blocking? Yes. Okay, so let's clear the critical parent archetype of any blocks that's too strong. Bring it back into balance and harmony, please. That's interesting how that affects the pituitary gland, isn't it? Let's start suddenly. Any other archetypes in here? No. Chart 10b, programs created by spirit, self-punishment, and rebalancing the etheric. So let's clear all self-punishment programs. This is the these are the first major programs on this chart, so it's important that that's cleared away, clearing all depths, levels, ranges, limitations, everything, everywhere, any body programs of self-punishment there that are connected to the pituitary gland in particular, any body memories with that as well, and then rebalancing the etheric body after that, please. Okay. Chart 12, which is spirit energy programming. Which is a dysfunction of creative energy by emotions, pre-programming of spirit by God. So let's just clear those away. That's Queen of Life level there, which is the kind of the womb equivalent of the soul. We have a King of Kings, which is like the egg and sperm. Queen of Life, which is the womb, and then Lord of Lords, which is the first expression of the living soul. And that's represented on chart 17, which is fine-tuning chart. I love that chart. That's my favourite one. I don't want to insult all the other charts. I just love that chart in particular. Whatever gets you through the day, yeah? Whatever gets you through the day. I do a lot of clearings, so I do clearings all day long. When I'm not working one-to-one with clients in between, you know, I work full-time doing this, so this isn't a hobby for me. This is a full-time profession for me. Right, 22, new one, universe. Our horizons are unlimited. The Godhead is all is the Godhead, so it's just clearing away any blocks to those, anything that needs to be cleared there. So I've been using the SRT system for about 10 years or so. In fact, even before that, I was having clearings done on myself before that. So from probably 2010, 2011, I think. Yeah. But before that, gosh, I'm trained in a lot of things, modalities, which is what I use for my one-to-one sessions. So I do the SRT packages and then working one-to-one with me. There are packages where you can do that. So I'm a trained clinical hypnotherapist, past life regressionist, transpersonal hypnotherapist. Once had an email correspondence with Dolores Cannon years ago. Before I realized who she was, I was the head of the Association for Transpersonal Hypnotherapists for a few years, and she applied to join many years ago, before she died, before she died, obviously. That would be a neat trick. And I asked her for her qualifications and insurance and all of that, not realizing who she was. One of my embarrassing moments in the world. And my colleague / hypnotherapy mentor at that time, I hadn't realized who she was. So he said, no, you don't need to ask. Dolores Cannon for her qualifications and insurance and all of that. She is well known and regarded. And when I realised, I just felt so stupid, especially being the chair of it was a small association. We'd not long set it up, so. And I hadn't been doing hypnotherapy for that many years then, but honestly, I felt so stupid because I'm a huge fan, Chart 25, of Dolores Cannon's work. I've always got a Dolores Cannon book on the go in my Audible. Right, challenges. So let's just clear any challenges away. They're a bit like issues. They're like smaller stuff, but you know, can get in the way. So challenges that are affecting the pituitary gland, please. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm also trained in EFT, EMDR, biomagnetism, pair therapy, which I only use personally, really. Theta healing, a few theta healing ones. What else? Reiki, I'm a Reiki master practitioner, NLP. So I've got my main forte is really sort of working with the mind and spirit. Trained as a medium over 29 years. Done lots of workshops on mediumship. Yeah, so my credentials are on my website if you want to check them out, if you're interested in working with me. So I've been working with NG a long time, really. Reflexologist trained. That's my very first training in reflexology back in the mid-90s. Right, we're going back to chart 6A, which is Master Programs, Discordant Energy for this one. It's failure again. So is this another one? Yeah, it's another layer of failure coming up. It's interesting how strongly failure links with the pituitary gland there. Failure often isn't a bottom line program. What you'll find under failure is abandonment quite often, or the fear of abandonment. Obviously failure is a perception there as well, but it always brings its mates with it. So I've got a video talking about failure on its own. So failure has this tendency to bring in its mates like depression, self-rejection, rejection of life, what's the point, energy, that sort of apathy. So they all come together with failure. And where there's depression, there's usually buried anger. So everything is all sort of interconnected, but they always seem to all come up together. So when someone's running failure, I always check self-rejection, rejection of life, depression, apathy, what's the point, life is pointless. Always check belief systems around those. So if you're someone that runs a lot of apathy, or you're feeling a bit apathetic or lethargic about life in general, then you're most likely, I've found in my experience, running belief systems of failure. So that's always worth muscle testing yourself to see if that's the case. Chart 28, final forgiveness. Clear for integrity of consciousness. So let's do that, shall we? Let's clear for integrity of consciousness. I think I might just check to see if there's any psychic wounds running as well in the pituitary gland. So, because there quite often are. So what it says about psychic wounds, this is Robert E. Detzler again. If somebody's cleared and they are still having difficulty with pain in a particular area or imbalance, I'll just add that one in, ask if it is a psychic wound. Psychic wounds are always caused by someone you know and trust in a past life. Sometimes it is accidental and sometimes on purpose. Even a caesarean birth, especially if not needed, can create a psychic wound. That's interesting, isn't it? So we ask Spirit to heal the psychic wounds. Until the wound is healed, there can be pain in that area. Psychic wounds seldom are a result of war unless someone betrays you and you are then harmed by the enemy, which is interesting. Right, I'm just going to check to see if there's any psychic wounds. So looking at the pituitary. Yeah, how many digits are we looking at? I'm not going to ask because it'll be, how many did, yeah, it'll be in the millions because it's a group clearing. So I'm just going to ask all and any psychic wounds to be healed from the pituitary gland for you, please. I don't know why I went to that chart. Didn't need to really. Just going to ask that all and any psychic wounds for the pituitary gland are healed. There we go. Are they done? Yeah, I hope that makes a difference. Anything else? No, should we go to mop up? So let's go and do a quick mop up for you. This is just a taster. It's not a full mop up. We're just going to clear away. This is where the bulk of the clearing takes place by your teams on the other side of life. So I mentioned Queen of Life earlier, you know, the kind of womb of the soul. This is what Robert says about the Queen of Life. Spirit calls Queen of Life the womb of creativity. That is where the spiritual body is created. From King of Kings, which is the egg and sperm of the soul, there are 45,000 ideas, one or all, that go into the Queen of Life. So I'll just read that again. From King of Kings, there are 45,000 ideas, one of all, that go, so one or all, that go into the Queen of Life. Then at Queen of Life, there are 150 more elements. These are all DNA/chromosomes. Sorry, I haven't got my reading glasses on, so. And what he says about King of Kings, I'll take off my normal glasses to read this for you. King of Kings and factors, 45,000. These factors are, is that King of Kings and factors? No, King of Kings, there you go, that's the one. This is a sovereign or ruling consciousness. There is one office and one level. King represents a ruling consciousness, the executive faculty in every person whose life is guided, governed, and directed by spirit. King of Kings represents the perfect idea of a spiritual man or woman, the Christ ruling in consciousness. King of Kings on chart 3 is the point at which the divine idea is formed and each soul is differentiated. There are 45,000 possible elements, in brackets ideas. Any combination of the elements can be selected by the 17th level of gods for the ruling idea of each soul that is created. These elements go into the Queen of Life to form the spiritual body in the image and likeness of God. That's in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 27. Those creative elements need to be cleared. Fascinating. So you can get that information from, Soul Recreation, which is Robert Stetzler's book. It's back to front there. And The Freedom Path. Robert Detzler's other books. So all the information I've been reading out comes from those books, and that's from the Spiritual Response Association, or I'm sure you can get it from all sorts of places, those books. I've had them for a long time, those ones. So where are we now then? 100 positive, 0 negative. So happy myself, team happy, will it hold? Is there anything else to be done? No. 100 positive, 0 negative. Radiant love, new paradigm level. So I really hope that those helped you in clearing the pituitary gland there. I went off at a bit of a tangent for a couple of those things that just sort of jumped out, and I think sometimes I'm just inspired to share certain information there for you. So you know the score, drink lots of water, the usual blah 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 that I usually suggest. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next clearing. Lots and lots and lots of love.